Hello again. Here we are with the finishing up this poster design for Dave Matthews, the Dave Matthews Band Huntsville, Alabama show. So when I left off, I had started doing all the rendering, basically all the blue and black final rendering, and this is. So I finished it for the most part. I just wanted to kind of go back and go over a few things of what I did here. So it's all in layers because it's going to be screen printed. So I'm working in blue and black. So let's take away those layers, and you can see where the blue ink goes down, and then when the black goes down. And as you can see, I've added a lot of detail here, a lot of made up detail, but it's science fiction, right? So I added the day and added some decals, and here's some more decals that I added on a different layer. I put these all on a different layer just because I can change them if if it gets edited in the approval process. So it's best to work in different layers if you remember to. And then another thing I did, which I'm going to show you right now, is added a bunch of textures onto the piece just to give it a little more of a tactile feel and a kind of a pulpy, vintage vibe to it. So here's a blue texture. I definitely did these textures on different layers because I might go back and delete them or alter them in some way. So here's the blue texture. You can see the blue little speckles, and then some more. I added some halftone dots, and right here I'm using the True Grit Beat Tones brushes, which I really like. I mean, I was always very skeptical of these texture brushes, but the True Grit has done a really good job with them, and they're kind of like a distressed, imperfect halftone dot, like it gives it that real vintage vibe to it. So that's that. And then I added some more blue texture down in here, just some thicker stuff. I'm not so sure about that. We'll see. But you can kind of see, zooming up here, you can see all the texture that I added. And also you can see when I rebrushed this over top of the vector line work, I wiggled it and made it imperfect. Gives that a little more character, which I wanted to do. I didn't want it to be too digital looking. I wanted it to give it like a more of a hand-drawn vibe to it. So after adding all this texture, you can kind of see what happens. Some more texture, another layer of texture. Whoa. So yeah, and the texture it helps to create a little bit of depth, a little bit of just kind of like a used, lived-in type of look, where it's not like a brand new digital piece of art printed out of a color copier or something, just to give a little more character, I guess is the best way to describe it. So there is, and then I add a little black texture up in the mountains and the around the base down here. Some of this texture in here, and I might, I think in this building it gets a little heavy, so I'll probably erase some of that texture. And when working on layers, it makes it so easy to go back and kind of erase some of this stuff. Like, for instance, like I can go back in here, and if I think that I don't want all that texture in this building, I could just delete it. So very easy to use, very easy to alter it and edit yourself when you work in layers. So this is the final piece. I'm still contemplating on doing a third color of glow-in-the-dark translucent ink, which will be wherever you see white here will be glow-in-the-dark. And the nature of that ink, it might tint the paper a little bit, maybe add a little bit of a slight tint hue of green, but I'm kind of talking to the print right now on specifics as far as what it will do to the paper. I don't want to alter my color palette too much. Like if it turned really green, I wouldn't want that. But if it stays pretty pale and pretty subtle, I will probably give it a shot because I haven't done it before. So yeah, that's it. This is the final piece for the Dave Matthews Band Huntsville, Alabama show poster. I sent this off to the people in charge for approval, so I should be hearing back. And once I hear back, I'll do all the pre-press stuff to prepare it for screen printing, which is a bunch of technical stuff that I have to do. But we'll get into that another time. Thanks a lot.